Hey, I'm Daniel Prin, and on this episode of the Filmcraziest Show, I was joined by Mayye Zayed, the director of the new documentary Lift Like a Girl. The documentary is about a 14-year-old female weightlifter nicknamed Zebiba, living in Alexandria, Egypt, and training in a small lot that looks like a construction site, surrounded by chain link fencing. You wouldn't expect this to be the training site of champions, but it is. She trains with Captain Ramadan, who has led female champions before, as he tries to lead Zebiba to greatness and train for the Olympics. There's info below where you can watch Lift Like a Girl, and for people watching this interview on YouTube, just to let you know that this interview is audio only. With that said, here's Mayye Zayed to introduce the show.
Hi, I'm Mayye Zayed, and I'm the director, writer, and producer of Lift Like a Girl, and you are listening to the Filmcraziest Show.
Cool, thanks, May. And I'm Daniel, and I am the host of the Filmcraziest Show, and it's great to have you here talking about Lift Like a Girl.
It's really my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Now, I wanted to start with the fact that, so our main character, or main person is named Asma, right? But
yeah.
Throughout the film, she's called Zebiba. So I'd be
Yeah.
curious just to hear about the story behind that nickname.
Well, Zebiba means raisin in Arabic, and Captain Ramadan, because he gives everybody nicknames, he nicknamed her Zebiba because when she first came to the training site, she was so little and as tiny as a raisin. So that's why she's called Zebiba, or raisin.
Okay. So how long has she been training with Captain Ramadan before you started filming them?
I think she started training at the age of 9. I think she started when she was 9 years old. But then when we filmed her, she was 14. So she has already had spent some time, training.
Now, you started filming her when she was 14 and then through 18. So how long did you film for? And like, did you just film like once a year, or what was that like?
Well, no, actually, I mean, we filmed for 4 years, and we weren't filming once a year, but at the same time, we weren't filming every day. Usually, we would go, I think, for a couple of days or a week every month, just to film what's going on, and if there is like a championship or a big event that's coming, we try to be there before that, just to film the preparations and stuff like that. But usually it was just me and the DP going there, whenever our schedule could do it. Like, so, yeah.
Okay. How much footage did you end up getting?
5 terabytes, but I think that was around 300 hours of footage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's always impressive to me for documentaries, like getting that much footage down to 90 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we could have made 30 other films from all the footage that we have.
Yeah, then there'd be some other interesting story arcs, right?
Yeah. We spent actually a year and a half in the editing just because of that, because we had all these great characters, all these scenes that we wanted, that we really, or at least myself, that I really liked as a director. But then, the editor and I, Sarah Abdullah, like we had to really, choose the scenes that work the best for the story.
Okay, all right, fair. Now, I'd love to learn how you heard about this story and what made you want to tell it.
Well, actually, I knew about Nahla Ramadan and Captain Ramadan from a very long time ago. I knew about them back in 2003 when Nahla won the gold medal in the World Championships. She was actually the first Egyptian athlete that I know of that did that back then. And I was just 18 years old, and I was so amazed and inspired by the idea that there is this girl, who's almost my age and lives in my city, and with the little resources that she has, she could make it to the World Championships. So I found the story very inspiring back then, and it kind of stayed with me. And Nahla, throughout the years, became a sports icon, to everybody in Egypt, actually. and I think she inspired a whole generation of men and women, you know, and that's why, that's why when I had the chance to meet Captain Ramadan in 2014, I knew immediately that, I really want to make a film about this space, about him, about the girls. Yeah, because I was so amazed by the fact that he was still training other women, to be professional weightlifters, and that he has achieved, all these medals and achievements. So it was. I felt that, I just want to stay there and tell the world their story in a way.
Okay, cool. Now, with the club like training in a kind of like a construction area, almost
Mhm.
just like an empty lot, is that
Yeah.
like really cement the fact that the athletes in Alexandria don't really have like a lot of financial backing?
Uh, well, I cannot say that all the athletes in Alexandria have the same training conditions. I think the training conditions are very like, there are some groups all over Egypt that have similar training conditions, but at the same time, you can have or you find athletes training in private sports clubs, where they have very good equipment, but then these sport clubs are are for members only, and then usually like upper middle class um, families are the ones that can afford, getting into these sports club. But then the majority of Egyptians usually or might train in training conditions similar to what we see in the film, especially in sports that are not, that famous. I mean, they are not, at the end of the day, they're not playing football or soccer. So yeah. So unfortunately, there are some groups that have similar training conditions in different other sports, and not only in Alexandria but all over Egypt.
Okay, all right. Now, how many people at a time, like how many athletes at a time would be in this club, like in your experience?
Well, it depends. I think huge. I mean, the minimum I would meet is 10. Um, Sometimes
Okay.
there are 20 people, there, but usually it's somewhere between 10 to 20.
Okay. Okay. Fair. um, Also, I would be curious if you keep in touch with any of the athletes, like Asma.
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, we have a very good relationship. After spending all these years with them, I feel, part of the team myself. So yeah, so we meet um, usually, and I usually go to the training site. I visit them. Just to say hello, and to see how they're doing. Sometimes we talk on the phone. So, like, yeah, we stay on touch most of the time.
All right, nice. I like to hear that. Because it's kind of like it's obviously a weightlifting documentary, but it's also coming in of age in a way, like
Yeah,
watching Asma grow up, right?
yeah, exactly.
What was that like for you, like having a front row seat to that, like just watching her grow as a person?
Um, I mean, of course I like it. I don't know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the film. But I feel that I don't know. As I I I don't know. I think the most important thing or the most important element in the story is time. Um, and I wanted to capture, her journey as much as I could. And time is very important, in being a professional athlete or in growing up, actually. So I tried to capture the element of time, and just to see the little changes that she has from one scene to the next, um, and not only to her but to everybody else and to the training site itself. I really like the idea that we see her growing up in front of our eyes, and we also see the training site at the same time developing, in a way. So yeah, I mean, I think I think I don't know. I think it's it's a coming of age story for sure. I mean, when I was making it, and even now, I always see it as a coming of age story. I don't really see it as a sports film because at the end of the day, I mean, the idea of winning or losing is not what I'm really concerned about, but more,
Okay.
I'm really concerned about her journey of growing up, in a way.
All right, cool. I was also like interested throughout that she has like kind of a mental battle when
Mm,
she has to like a little bit of a just to get the weight up.
yeah.
I'm curious, like what were those moments like on set when like she feels defeated and then she was being hyped up after?
Hmm. Well, I mean, when I was filming, or when we were filming the film, we always, like the DP and I always felt that we were part of the team. So we were, sometimes we would be, excited, or sometimes we would worry about her. We don't know if she's like, if she will lift it or not. And I remember in one of the scenes, it was me on the camera. So I was the one filming one of the lifts, um, and she, I think she, I mean, I was so invested in the moment that I forgot that I was filming, and that's why the shot is shaky in a way,
Okay.
so my emotions as someone behind the camera were transferred to the camera, or the camera movement, or affected the camera movement, and that's just how we were, or how we felt so connected to them, and to Zebiba and to the team. And she was always full of surprises because, I mean, you see her lifting all these lifts and all these weights in the training, but then when she goes to the championships, I think the pressure and everything affects her, and that's why you see her struggling somehow, and yeah, so we had to try to have that on camera for the audience to live the moment with her.
Okay. And I thought it was interesting after one of those moments where one of the coaches says, man up and just lift like a man once.
Mm.
So I was just curious, what was it like exploring that side of the film and kind of how these female weightlifters are in a sport that seems dominated by men mostly?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I was so surprised to see that some of these girls talk to each other as men, actually. So it's not only male coaches asking them to man up, sometimes they tell each other to man up. And I
Sure.
and I was so surprised. But then I think that goes back to the idea that in the language, in the Arabic language, or in the Egyptian culture, we don't have any cheering words for women, and the most common expression used um, to show strength is to man up. Actually, that's what everybody says, men and women, and not only in sports but everywhere. And I think these girls are just repeating these expressions without really thinking of them, or maybe with thinking of them, I don't know. I just wanted to capture, how language is affecting them as much as it affects everybody, because at the end of the day, and this is, I think, a problem not only in Arabic but in other languages as well, that sometimes we just say things because we are used to saying them without really thinking of why we're saying them. um, and I wanted the film to open this kind of discussions, and so that we can talk about the gender bias in language, because there is, in all languages. But I was so surprised to see that this is how they speak to each other, and I know that their point of view is that they try, to feel empowered. That's their way to feel empowered. And as much as I disagree with that, I felt that my role as a filmmaker is to capture that and then open a discussion afterwards about it.
Okay. And I think you do, yeah, because that's interesting learning that that's just the language. I'd also love to talk about just Captain Ramadan and just his coaching style. I thought it was interesting seeing that he's kind of on top of the world when Zebiba like does the lift, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like the world's ending when
Mm.
she's not able to do it. So was
Yeah.
that that's just his coaching style, right? Or was that ever kind of like a bit toxic on set? I'm not sure.
I think that was his coaching style,
Okay.
and I mean, because he was really like there are different kinds of personalities, you know, and Captain Ramadan had this personality where you really know his emotions, you know, unlike Zebiba, you really don't know. Like, I remember that, you know, the DP and I always asked, like, is she okay? Is she happy? Is she upset? Like, and that's what really drawn me to her, you know, in the first place, because I felt so curious about this girl, you know, that's quiet most of the time, and yeah, I felt that, you know, we have a lot of films that are made about extrovert characters, and now I have two different characters. You know, one is an extrovert, extremely extrovert, and another one who is an extremely introvert, and they have this very unique relationship, and I wanted, you know, to explore this relationship with the good and bad in it, you know. And of course I found many of the things that Captain Ramadan said to Zebiba offensive, of course, but I felt that, you know, my role is to not sugarcoat the reality, but actually, you know, show Zebiba's journey with everything she has to face on a daily basis, you know. So yeah.
Okay. And that contrast is great now that we're speaking about it. Um, I'd love to ask, I don't want to, obviously this is real life, but I don't want to spoil for the listeners. So I'm just,
Mm.
at one point in the film, there is like a change in tone. So
Mm.
I'm just curious if any athletes wanted to stop training or stop doing the documentary after that, like a
Not
death.
really, not really, but
Okay.
it was actually me and the DP thinking of stopping the film. Um,
Okay.
but then I got a call from Zebiba and Isra, another girl in the training, and they asked us where are we, and that they want us to be with them. So then I felt, oh, okay, we have to go. I mean, I have to be there, and we just went there immediately, and I felt that, you know, I was getting my strength from them, you know, because the way they handled the situation was was something that I've never seen before. And yeah, so, and they made me overcome, you know, my sadness uh, in a way.
Okay. I love that they still wanted you there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find online, but was Zebiba able to qualify for this year's Olympics?
No, no. I mean, the whole Egyptian team is suspended, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I did. For some reason, I did not know that. Sorry, but
yeah.
why are they suspended?
They're suspended because of doping charges.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, what's it like releasing the film and kind of like in the light of that?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it is really important to talk about that in a way. And I remember that at some point in an earlier cut, we had, like, you know, at the moment we have an ending text when the film ends. That in an earlier cut, that text was about the situation and that the Egyptian team is suspended. But
Okay,
then I really didn't want, you know, the audience to, you know, to take the conversation to this incident, which is something that has nothing to do with Zebiba and Captain Ramadan, you know, um, in any way. So yeah, but I really hope, you know, that when the film is screened, and more people get to watch it, and at the same time they know that the national team of weightlifting is suspended, then we really talk about why did that happen and how did it happen, because there is an, I think, an investigation that's going on at the moment in Egypt, for, you know, with the coach of the national team, um, and yeah, because in addition to everything that we see in the film and all the challenges that Zebiba and all her teammates had to go through, they also have to go through, you know, corruption in a way. And yeah.
okay, okay. Now, I'd also love to ask, what was it like for you and some of the team going to the Cairo International Film Festival and having a premiere there? Was that 2019 or 2020 that we were there?
2020, last
Okay.
December.
Okay, what was that like?
It was great. It was really great. I mean, that was the first, I think the only physical screening that I attended as a director, um, and um, and and I managed to get all the girls with me, and we had a gala screening, and you know we really had a great night. Screening the film in the Cairo Opera House to the audience, and the girls started lifting weights on the red carpet or even on the stage, and Nahla Ramadan came and lifted some weights, and after a long time of not doing so. So I think it was really, it was one of these nights, that you will remember forever. It was really magical, and I was so happy. It was the moment that I was waiting for so long. And I really hope, that I could release the film in different conditions where I could attend all the screenings, because yeah, I mean, it's great that that the film industry kept going despite COVID and everything, and that we had online screenings everywhere. But I think the physical interaction with the audience is very important, at least to filmmakers, because you spend all these years making the film and hoping that one day you'll just get to screen it to the world and then meet those who decided to come and watch it and talk about it. But it was a great screening. And we got 3 awards, so that was even greater. Like that was something that none of us was expecting at all.
Okay, what awards were those?
We got the audience award. We got the Bronze Pyramid Award for first film, and we got the Aziz Award for best Egyptian film, about women.
Okay.
So we ended the festival with 3 awards, which is like the first time in the history of the festival that a documentary wins 3 awards. So that was great.
That's amazing to hear, and great that everyone was able to go.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Now, can I have you plug quickly where people can find your film and when it releases?
The film, they can check the website, which is livelikeagirlfilm.com. Okay. On the website, they can find all the information, whether about social media, upcoming screenings, and all the other details.
Okay, perfect. Mayye Zayed, director, producer, and writer of Live Like a Girl. Thank you for chatting with me about your documentary on the Filmcraziest Show.
Thank you for having me. It's been really my pleasure.